Good day, this is Thumbs United. We're doing I'm sorry, my voice is like crackling. I don't know why. It's just been really wobbly today. That makes any sense. But this is Thumbs United. We're recording a creative live stream. And we're going to finish up working on the Milwaukee Project. I've been editing in my free time today and yesterday. So we only have... we have 15 photos to get through, and I've kind of sped up my editing techniques, so we're going to get through it in no time. And so after we do these 15 remaining photographs, then we're going to jump into doing the Canon photographs, digital 35mm, and that's in color. So we're about to say goodbye to the black and white. All in all, it was 59 photographs, which is pretty good. I think there was like 17 that were for a different project in a different location, not Milwaukee. And then there was only like 2 or 3 photos that were just like personal photos. It was just like my pictures of my grandmother or mom in Milwaukee. So we have 69 photographs, so that's pretty good. And it's going to be about... I have the calendar right here. We can do the math. Each photograph gets displayed for 28 seconds. So that's like 74 minutes. So that's pretty good. We can do like 3 episodes, about 20 minutes each. We can almost do 4, but so let's get into it. Let's get to work. So I'm happy to announce that I've started working on the next project. The next project I'm working for, I'm going to be working on it for a long time before it becomes public. It has to do with event photography and everything. But, well, I mean, not and everything. It is event photography, and it's more focused around people. I used to do a ton of event photography in my teenage and really up to like 23. I'm 27 now, but I've been doing a lot of landscape only now. But I'm back to doing event photography, and so I did the first event just now. Well, not just now, but earlier today at like 6 p.m. So that went really well. I met a lot of people, so that was good. Whenever I like stay home a lot, I forget. I'm like, am I really able to socialize? And I can, and I'm good at it. It's just I get nervous. But yeah, so that went well. And this project I'm doing, the photographs are all going to be taken on film. So I went with my film camera. I did 35mm color film, and so that's going to be fun. And then I also took my 3D GoPro Hero, and so there's going to be some VR photos coming out for that as well. And I did take my digital 3D camera, and so the 3D and the VR is like its own separate project. It's still for the event photography, but it's not going to be in the same videos as the film. The film photos are kind of the showcase. So that will be fun. And I'm not going to live stream the editing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to record it live to tape and then release it to Patreon only as an unlisted YouTube video. that way, because like it's supposed to be like a surprise. The photographs, I don't want to edit them publicly, and so that's gonna start happening pretty soon, maybe in September, we'll see. Definitely in October. And the good news, I guess we're doing housekeeping. The first render of Project Newfoundland has completed, and it's good. I have to mix the audio and with the video, and I have to add all the title sequences and stuff, which isn't that hard. It takes like 2 seconds. But then I have to write the music for it. When I say write the music, it's not really writing music. I just sit down at the piano and improv for like 20 minutes. Like sometimes I have to start over, but it's like one long continuous improv session on the piano. So it's just the music. So the music I should be able to finish it tomorrow, and then the next day it will do the final render, and it should be up for sure by like Tuesday. It'll probably be up on Patreon Monday, and it will be there for like a week and a half, only on Patreon, and then it will start trickling out to flotations on YouTube. So that's good. Finally getting that out of the door. And then it's already time to start working on the next episode of Life to Tape of Storytime ASMR, which is, I'm getting faster at doing it, but I'm gonna wait till after Tuesday. I have kind of like big plans for Tuesday, so my family and I have to prepare for that. Just trying to fine tune this. I kind of don't want to bring up the black level. I realized I have to more rely on brightness and contrast, which is funny because with digital I never touch the brightness and contrast. I do everything with the exposure, the fill light, the blacks, and then I do with the resting curves. I rarely adjust the brightness and contrast because I never have to. With film, it's easier to fine tune using the brightness and contrast, especially with black and white, which is probably why I'm using it more. Because then it's just more options, and I have more ways to get a higher dynamic range. So what I'm doing is on purpose, I overexpose everything, and then I bring bring down the dark areas up here and everything. And then I go and I increase the contrast, and I slowly start to bring it down back into an exposure that I like. I have to make sure I cropped it, and I did. And so yeah, I brighten the image beyond what I would like, and then I make the shadows and everything brighter, and then I bring the brightness down, which is different than changing the exposure. And so like now the image is like almost there, and so now I'm telling it to everything that's really dark, make it brighter. Keep the light things, don't brighten the light areas. And we're going to add back a little bit of the black point. There we go. And that's kind of the method I discovered is the easiest for editing the black and white photos, film photos in a consistent way that gets me the image I want. So I did this event. I didn't do the event. I went and took photos at the event, and it went pretty well. I brought one roll of film with me, and it was 24 exposures. I got this film from Amazon, and it was $15 for 4 rolls of 24 exposure film, colored film, and it's like a high-end consumer film. It's not quite professional. It's like on the border of being professional, but so I got it, and it's just experiment to see how it goes. So hopefully it goes well. I brought several lenses. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, so I brought a 50mm lens with an aperture of 1.8, and that was for when I was indoor doing the events. And then for the outdoor, I couldn't decide if I wanted my 70 to 300mm, because 300mm kind of felt like overkill. But then, and so I brought my 28 through 135 millimeter lens. That's like my favorite lens. It's 28 to 135 because it's good for indoors. It's good for outdoors. It's wide angle enough where you can get really close up. But then when you do take kind of close up shots, it doesn't do like very good close up micro. But it does pick up a lot of details. You have to be like a minimum of 2 feet away from the object. That's why I say it doesn't do good micro. With micro, you could get up to like 5 or 8 inches away from your subject. But as long as you're 3 feet away, you can zoom in to like all the way to 138.5 millimeters, and then you can focus. So you get a great depth of field, and it is magnified a lot. But it is, a telephoto angle. So it compresses the background, if that makes sense. It makes everything out of focus. But you can't really tell how far everything is. And it's a good way to get a depth of field and have your subject the point of interest. And this was like, I don't know, it was kind of like a racist car. I don't know. I'm not going to zoom into what it says, but it was like not very great. Do. Okay. Get rid of that vehicle. So this is not only a photo of the statue, but it's also a photo of this building. And tell it to take everything that's bright and make it darker. But I'm also going to tell it to brighten the dark areas so there's more definition. But then I'm going to cap it at a certain point. That's what this curve is doing. And then from here we're going to bring up the contrast. And we're going to gently bring down the exposure, which is different. It changes the photo in a different way than doing the brightness and contrast. And gonna get rid of these. Well, you know what? We will take the contrast down, but then we'll. No, it was better the other way. And this is rare that I would take 2 photos on film similar to each other. On digital, it's like you just take photos willy-nilly. But before, like I said, it was kind of that building. And this one's really meant to be of the statue. When I was taking this photo, I was walking. I was pushing my grandmother in the wheelchair. And the street before this I had stopped, and I was like, I'm gonna pass out. I don't know what it was. Like, I ate lunch, but all of a sudden I just felt very shaky, kind of noodly, and I mean, that happens when my blood sugar gets low. I'm not diabetic, but I have to get tested for it every year. But I was like, oh, this is it. Didn't eat enough food. Now I'm going to pass out. And then I was like, who am I going to call? You know? But drink some water, and then I was like, okay, either we turn around now or we keep going. And then it just went away, and I was like, that was weird. I mean, it was fast. It came on fast. I'm gonna forget that. Okay, that's the image. That's funny, I was taking pictures of this building, and right over here there was this other photographer, and it's always funny when two photographers kind of come in, I mean, are shooting in the same area. But the other photographer was kind of creeping me out a little bit, and I guess I was creeping him out. So I was taking a photo of this, and I think the other photographer thought I was taking a photo of the model, or was trying to like view the model. It's like, no, I'm literally just here to take a photo of the building. I think he was like worried I was going to steal his shot. I was like, nope. But some photographers are, I don't know what the word is, have big egos, and I don't know, my ego is, it depends how you think about it. Like I kind of have like a low self-esteem. I have, and that's different from having confidence. Like I won't say, you know, I can do this, I can do that. Like I always worry about doing something or starting, but I do know, kind of what I am able to accomplish. So I know if I just start, you know, I'll figure out a way to accomplish my task. But there's like a large amount of, you know, fear and everything. I'm like, I'm not sure I can do it. I'm not sure. And then eventually I move past that, and I just start, and you'll figure out a way. So that's what I mean by like low self-esteem. But I am confident that once I start a project, I'll be able to work through it. But I think a lot of photographers kind of pick up on that kind of like low self-esteem that I have, and like I'm not bragging about the work and everything. So it's funny because when I meet, you know, other photographers in real life, a lot of times they kind of end up mansplaining things to me, which is like, it's funny because you might be wondering like, well, how can you know, a guy mansplain to you if you're a guy? And I don't know, but it's just like they kind of, assume I know nothing about photography, and they're telling me how like the real pros do it. She's like, you don't know. And like I never correct them or anything because I don't want to have that discussion. But occasionally I'll give them my card, and I just tell them you can check out what I do. And then there was this one photographer. I was with my friends. We were going through the park, and this one photographer was sitting there. It's a wildlife photographer. He's decked out in camouflage. His lens has camouflage on it and everything. Even his tripod has the camouflage on it. And he's sitting there. No, he was standing, and camera on the tripod, and he was just holding it. And we were walking past him, and my friend was like, "Oh, what are you taking a picture of?" And the photographer was just like, "Just keep going. Just keep going. I don't want to talk. Just go." And it was like, wow. It was just like so incredibly rude. And it's just like, you never really know if you're going to meet like a potential client or something in real life. And not even that. You should just try to be a good person and not try to ruin somebody's day. I mean, here were 3 people, walking in the park, and maybe we would have, liked to go see some more of his photographs and stuff, but now it's just like, okay, you're gonna be a pill? And so that was weird. Not weird, but like disappointing. Last one. We blew past these 15 minutes pretty fast. I guess the average has been like a photo every 2 minutes. It's been a little less than that. I've been streaming for 33 minutes. Okay, that was it. Good job, people. Let's end the stream. I'm half joking. So everything's been tone mapped and all that stuff. We've edited all the 35mm digital. So we're getting close to the end of the month. So I will be sending away the medium format film, and that's 80mm. So it's the frame size is double that of 35mm the 35mm camera. So that means it's higher quality. There's more range. The depth of field is stronger, even with wider angle lenses, and it really changes the physics of photography. But that film is in color, so it's not going to be quite the same as working with these black and whites, where it was faster. I mean, the average was like 5 or 7 minutes per photo, because there were some photos that were like just took a long time to edit. But yeah, the color's gonna take a lot longer. It might be like 10 to 15 minutes per editing. Good thing we found this one. Let's crop it. There we go. We'll look at it one more time. Make sure everything's cropped. It's been like a couple of weeks we've been doing this. And so the next step for the black and white film is we're going to go through and remove all the specks and dust from the scanner. There's not as many specks on each film, but there's still like the occasional one. So I'll be doing that offline and online, live streaming it and working by myself. And yeah, so hopefully that gets done relatively quickly. But for the next couple of streams, well, for this stream and probably tomorrow, well, maybe up till Monday we'll be working up on the digital color photography from 35mm. And the medium format is in color. I believe I said that. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, because I mean, you've seen how much range there was in black and white, and so in color we have even more options. So I should be sending that sometime soon. I was telling you guys how I budget. When I get paid, I give myself $50 a month that I can spend on production stuff. And so I spent it last month. Well, technically I spent August. That's how I got the 35mm developed. And no, I mean July's. And so I have to get paid for August, and then I'll develop the medium format. The company I used to develop my film, I used to do it myself, but I really enjoy this company, and it's called The Dark Room. You send in your film. Well, first you order your film. You can pay online, and then they send you, and then they give you a link, and you just print out the link. It links to a prepaid, not sticker, but prepaid address, and it's a prepaid address thing. And so you tape it to the envelope. Like you could use like a big envelope, and then you put your film in the envelope with your receipt. So then it ships over there, and then they ship it back. And they developed my film on the holiday weekend. They developed it on Friday, scanned it, and sent it back. Sent it in the mail by Saturday morning, and then I got it by Tuesday. And that was like really fast turnaround. The longest thing that took the most amount of time was sending it to them. It took about 6 days for the mailman to bring it to them. But once they got it, the turnaround was literally 1 day, and it was on the holiday weekend. I have to relearn how to do digital editing. Trying to take what I learned from film and apply it to the Do, 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 do. Taking pictures of air conditioners. As you can see, I move a lot faster with editing digital. That's because you don't have a lot of options. There's kind of like 2 or 3 ways you can edit the photograph. The output, and so that's why I can move so much faster. With film, it's like you want to do an HDR version, you want to do this, you want to, bring out the definition in the trees. You really have a ton of choices, and so it takes longer because you have to like try them all out to see which one looks the best. Taking pictures of parking lots. Do, do, do. And I'm going back to kind of my old style of editing, of like really high contrast and deep darks. Do, do, do. And I don't know if you saw, but I did edit the brightness, which is not something I usually do. One call, that's all. Do, 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 do. I'm gonna put in the schedule again. And there we go. That's the website where everything's going. It's Quotations. It's one of the websites I run. The other is Thumbs United, which is what you're watching right now. And then Live to Tape does the ASMR. Okay, this is like a problem child. What a child. So funny seeing color after editing so much black and white. I'm really trying to not only get more of a range, but have the colors kind of pop a little bit more. Usually I just do like more colors that pop and try to compress the range and have it a higher contrast. But this is weird. This is out of focus, but this building isn't. I mean, it's funny because this building is technically supposed to be, you know, beyond the infinity point. Everything, lenses can only focus, you know, so far. So there's a certain point in the lens where everything beyond infinity is in focus. And so this building is far enough away that once the lens is focused on infinity, all this should be in focus. So I don't know how I did this where all this stuff is, you know, blurry, but the building is in focus. And that's just funny. So those photos are just views from the hotel window. Now we're on the ground, walking around. This is day 1. No, technically it's day 2. We drove there on day 1, but that doesn't count. There we go. Chop house. Full of food I can't eat. And I don't have to change the white balance often because I actually go through and set the correct white balance each time I take the photo. It's not hard, it's just like every time you're outside and it's cloudy, you just set it once and then when you go inside you change it. But I'll show you real quick. Because it's raw, I can go in and change the white balance. Because the raw file, it stores the pixels as exactly as the sensor sees it. And the sensor doesn't see white balance. The white balance is something that's added once the image is compressed, usually for JPEG. But when you're shooting with RAW, you can go in and change the white balance to whatever you want after the fact, because all the data is still there. And but even though I do shoot RAW, I still set the white balance, so that way it saves me a little bit of time editing. getting kind of that HDR look. Now that film taught me how to do that. It was getting pretty stormy. I believe it just rained, and then it said it wasn't going to rain for like an hour or two, so my grandmother and I went for this quick walk just to kind of see what was around the city. I'm trying to get the illumination on these photographs to be kind of the same. The Milwaukee Panther Arena. He's just having too much fun. Pizza. I'm getting so hungry. While I was at this event, I stopped at the coffee shop. Not so mistake, never stop at a coffee shop. And I got a dirty chai, which is chai tea with a shot of espresso. And that was at like 6:30 p.m. And I feel fine. I don't feel that, awake, actually. I still feel tired. I imagined I was going to have more energy. So we're gonna end it in about 10 minutes. I'm trying to keep my sleep schedule in the AMs, if that makes sense. No more streaming till like 3 in the morning. Well, I like that. It messes me up for the day. I've really enjoyed getting up early. I used to be a morning person, but something happened. I guess college happened, and then I just didn't have to wake up so early. The school I went to was an hour away. It's about 52 miles away. And so we have to get up at like 5 in the morning and leave the house at 5:30. And so when I came back from school, I usually had to go to like extra tutoring. And so by the time we get back, it's like 7:30 p.m. And then it's just like, then I had to do homework. And then it was just like I was too tired to do anything else. And so then I did like a little bit of photography and playing around with the computer. So if I wanted to play, video games, I only had one game, and that was Halo Combat Evolved. And then eventually I got Unreal Tournament 2004. And like I said, we had to wake up. We had to leave the house at 5:30 in the morning. So I would wake up at like 3:45 in the morning so I could play Halo before school started. And I just, did things like that. And what was so nice about waking up like really early in this week was like every time I looked at the clock, I thought, oh man, it's at least 5 p.m. No, it's like 11:30 a.m. It's just like I just feel like I get so much more accomplished when I wake up early in the morning. I mean, I still do the same amount of stuff, and like I have the to-do list and I'm doing the exact same, but I feel like it's better. Like I feel like I'm getting a lot accomplished versus before it's like have to hurry up, and then you're falling asleep. You're going cross-eyed because it's 3 in the morning and you're still trying to do web design stuff. So I'm gonna try real hard to keep this sleep schedule. That's why I'm ending it at 12. Been having hard limits. I don't like any of this. go back to the beginning. I don't know what is wrong with this image. What is wrong? Okay. So it's too dark, which will change that. And the black point is wrong. So that's fixed. But I want to make the darks brighter, but the light not too bright. Okay, and then we do recovery. I don't know how. Oh, I know. This is through a dirty window. That's why it's having. It's not like any other photos. So there is an actual layer of haze. I was like, this makes no sense. It's through a dirty window in the car. There we go. The camera was overcompensating for the sky, which is why it was so. The buildings were so dark. I used to only shoot on manual, and my friends who were also photographers in high school, they're like, "What's Lloyd shooting on?" And then they're like, "He's shooting on manual again." And I was like, "Yes, only pros shoot on manual." And so then about maybe 3 years ago, I kind of gave up. Not really because it was like too difficult, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to see. I was testing out the camera. I was like, you know, maybe you have different modes. So you can have the mode where the camera calculates the aperture. And so it looks at how bright and dark it is. And then it makes, it's the decision on how open the lens should be. Which is the f-stop or the aperture. Also the t-stop. T-stop though is for cinema cameras. It just means that you get more there are more in between steps on a t-stop than f-stop, but the chart's exactly the same. A 5.6 t-stop is the exact same as a 5.6 f-stop. But with a T-stop, you can get 5.6.5 you can get 5.5, 5.3, 5.1. With a T-stop, you can only really get like 5.6, 4, 3.5, and 2. But I don't remember why. So it calculates the aperture, but then you choose the shutter speed. So that's how fast the shutter takes the image. The faster the shutter speed, the darker the image, because less light hits the shutter, hits the film or the sensor. The slower the shutter speed, the more light hits, so the brighter the image. But you also get motion blur from shakiness from holding the camera and everything. So there's a lot of things to balance out. And then so I was like, you know what, I'll let it choose the shutter speed, which is AV mode, but I will choose the aperture. And so that way I control the depth of field, because the lower the aperture number, it's actually the opposite of what you think. The lower the aperture number, like 1.2, 1.8, the wider open the lens is. And so if you have like an f-stop of 16, the lens is like a little tiny hole. And why you want the little tiny hole is because if you want everything to be in focus, both near and far, the smaller aperture, like the f16 or f32, will make everything in focus. But it also makes everything extremely dark. So you have to slow down the shutter speed. And then if you have the aperture wide open, which is like 1.2, 1.8, even 3.5, it lets in so much more light, but then the depth of field is much shorter. So things are pretty much either in focus or they're out of focus. But there is more range of focus, so it's perfect for portrait photography where you're trying to like blur out the background. And the reason why you would want to blur out the background is it brings the point of interest, the focal points, to whatever you have in focus. So it's a way you can guide the viewer and to a specific point on in your photograph or subject in your photograph. And then we're just gonna finish this. I know I said we'd end at 12, but and so I was like, you know what, I'll just choose the aperture. That way I can focus on the depth of field and composition and not worry. Because if it's in manual, you choose the shutter speed, you choose the aperture. And it's just like, you know, I take photos so fast now, it's getting difficult to do the shutter speed and the aperture at the same time. And so now I let the camera choose the shutter speed. And like I have an idea, and there are more settings you can do. Like I tell the camera, you know, take whatever exposure you think is right and bump it down 2 stops. And so then it automatically tries to make the image a couple of shades darker. And that's what you want, because if it's perfectly illuminated, things that are white, like the clouds up here and everything, they'll look like that, and you won't be able to recover any of the data. But if you underexpose your image, like this one is just a little bit, you can get more definition in the clouds, and then you can also brighten up the image like that, and so you get a higher range. So that's why I do it like this. And then we're going to increase the brightness. And that one was kind of a challenging one. And they're like, I had to push and pull these images a lot more because they are through a window. And so the window is like, it has the shade and it has the shade tint and everything. And so that's why these settings are more extreme. Okay, 5 more. And then we're gonna end the stream. We'll pick this up tomorrow. I'll be starting sometime between 9 and 11 p.m. Eastern time. I was so close to starting at 9 today, but I got an email, and I'm part of this focus group, and so I had to fill out the survey, and I get points based on how many surveys I fill out. And it's not like one of those shady websites where it's like, oh, you can get, fill out, 20 surveys and you get a $20 gift certificate. No, it's actual focus group. And so I checked my reward points, and I already get a $10 Amazon gift card, which is sweet. But I need to complete 2 more surveys, and then I can get a $20 Amazon gift card. So that's gonna be fantastic. So I can order extra film. And that's what I've been. So I was doing the survey, and then I was kind of drooling over Amazon and just trying to figure out how I can get the most film for the least amount of stuff, adding things to the cart, removing things from the cart, busting out the calculator. How many pictures, how much does this film cost per picture? And I think I have it figured out. But yeah, it's nice because I found this one camera company I like on Amazon, and they have a lot of film and a lot of cool cameras. But I'm not getting another camera. But they just have a wide selection of film that a lot of other companies don't have on Amazon. But I think there was one pack of film. It's $40, but it's you get to take 360 photos, so that's really good. Color, but it's 35mm, which is fine. And then I have another set where it's medium format in black and white. Also $20. Well, it's less than the other one. It's $20. Okay, that was it. We did this first section, and we did the film, so we did a lot. There's 54 photos we went through here, and we did it faster than the black and white. The black and white was a lot harder to edit. So tomorrow we should be able to do this set of 30. It's only 30 photos. It's mostly of geese, goslings, and then the beach. And then we'll probably be able to finish this one, which is the statue walk that I did. And so it's a lot of outdoor architecture. There's a lot of really cool stuff. So I'm kind of predicting we'll be able to finish all the digital photographs by Monday. And I'm including Monday in editing that. So then probably Wednesday and Friday next week we will be assembling the episodes and everything. So I want to thank everyone for coming in. This has been Thumbs United. There's going to be another Korea stream Saturday, Sunday, Monday, starting between 9 p.m., sometime between 9 and 11 p.m. Eastern Time. And then I record video games. We're doing Halo ODST Tuesday and Thursday. And I have a whole bunch of skulls on for Halo, so it's a lot of fun and chaotic. But, that's video games. So thanks for coming out. I'll see everyone tomorrow. Have a good day, and bye-bye.